So today I'm going to talk about my top 10 rules for investing in mobile home parks. And if you've ever wanted to jump into the world of mobile home park investing, you know that I love it. And if you're a regular listener, we've got a relationship and you want to jump into one of my deals, you can go and check out nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/invest. nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/invest to find out more. But today I'm going to tell you about my top 10 rules. A lot of these, most of these, I've learned from my mentors and also through running and operating my mobile home parks. And I got to tell you, you follow these, you will have a winner. Mobile home parks are my favorite real estate asset class. They cash flow great. They provide a clean and affordable place to live. There is less competition than dealing with apartments. And I just love them. It just resonates with me. And I've been investing in my own deals, plus other people's deals for close to, 13, 14 years now. So if you can't tell, I absolutely love mobile home parks. All right, so rule number one when dealing with a mobile home park is that your business model is based around tenant-owned homes. One of the biggest mistakes that people make when I talk to them about buying and operating or owning a mobile home park is they talk about mobile homes. And that is not the business that we are in. We are in the parking lot business that happens to provide infrastructure and utilities underneath the ground to tenants who bring their own homes to your park. You are in the parking lot business if you are running the business correctly. Now, that's not to say that when you buy a park, there isn't park-owned homes. As a matter of fact, usually there comes an owner who does not understand that running a park with park-owned homes is a total losing venture. It is really tough to make work. Banks hate it. It's tough to get financed. And it's not the way that you're supposed to run a park with tenant-owned homes. So you, again, want to own a big parking lot and rent those spaces to people who own their own home. So if you buy a park that has tenant-owned homes, you want to either have that tenant move on to live someplace else, or you sell that home to the tenant living on the property. And so now they become the owner. So that is rule number one. Number two, thou shall bring your park to market rents. So many times when you buy a mobile home park, let's face it, this is probably going to be the cheapest option in town. And so a lot of times people who owned the property, the previous owner, mom and pop, did not raise rents because he formed relationships with the tenants, didn't want to raise rents, and frankly, kept rents where they were. And so over a 15 or 20 year period, the rents have fallen significantly behind. I remember one of my first parks that I bought, market rents were around $550, and the previous owner had owned the park for about 7 years, and he had the rents at $375. And really what had happened is the previous owner, because of that, did not have a ton of cash flow, did not reinvest into the park. And because the park was not nearly as profitable as it could be, it gotten a little bit tired, and the tenants got used to that $375 a month rent. And so the tenants lost because the park started to deteriorate, and the landlord lost because he didn't reinvest back into his asset and the thing was looking tired. So we bought it, we raised the rents, we invested back into the park. The tenants were happy because their community wasn't falling apart, and it was a win-win. And so when you buy a park, you've got to bring it up to market rents. Sometimes you can't do it in just one full swoop. It has to be over a number of years. Sometimes you could do it in a year, depends on the situation, but you got to bring rents up to market. Number three, thou shalt have rules and regulations. So it's really important that when you buy a mobile home park, that you are going to create a community of beautiful homes, of people who have pride of ownership, who want to live there. And so you don't want to be in the business of fixing stuff. You want to be in the facilitation business of people who have their own homes in a park, who take good care of their environment. And so part of that is by enforcing rules and regulations like no loose dogs at the park, or you must power wash your home every year and have it painted, no trash in your yard, no broken windows. no hitches from mobile homes sticking out in front, no broken down cars, so things like that, right? You keep this stuff, it's really like a homeowners association. And so if you have rules and regulations, people are going to have pride in their community, but you have to lead. That being said, number 4 is there has to be rules and regulations, but you also have to enforce those rules and regulations. There's a big, big difference between having rules and enforcing rules. And so you have to do that. People have to feel that. And once again, you have a good park and rules are being set and then also enforced, people actually will like it better because the riffraff will move out and better tenants will move in and you will have a much better community. Number 5, always take the long-term approach to your mobile home park. Every single dollar that you put into your park today should be bringing, number 1, future cash flow to you, but also going to raise the value. Let me give you a small thing that we just did at one of our parks. So my assistant went around and she had a plumber come in and tape all of the plumbing connections to all the homes with plumber's tape. And it was a small little thing. I think it cost us like $250 or $300. And, you know, it didn't seem like it would be a lot, but we just got our first water bill and after she had done this, and our water bill was $200 lower this month. And so that $250, maybe you might want not to spend that up front, but it was just a little bit of water coming out of each little unit there, right? We fixed that, and over a year, that'll be $2,500. So you spend $250 today, at the end of a year, that's gonna be $2,500. Here's the beauty though. Mobile home parks are based actually on the income that they provide, the net income. And so that $2,500 actually is going to add about $35,000 in value for a $250 repair. Same thing, that could go for a gate that you put in front. And let's say you put a nice gate, it costs you $10,000 in front of your mobile home park. You're like, oh, I don't want to spend that. Well, you spend that $10,000 on the gate. Now you're able to raise rents $25 a unit. Let's say you've got 50 units on there. That's going to be, geez, my math here is $25 a unit on 50 units would be 25,000. That would be $1,250, right? So now you're going to have an extra $1,250, okay, per year coming into the park, let's say because of a nice sign. No, I'm sorry, that's $1,250 times, what is that? Look at this. See, no one ever said I was smart. So you're going to take 25 and times 50. You're going to have 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 5 is 10. So that's going to be 5, 5, 2. Yeah, that's $1,255 a month. Okay, you multiply that by 12. Okay, let's call it $13,000, $14,000 a year. Okay, just by that one new fence in the front, right? New fence in the front, you can raise each space by 25. People feel safer. It looks better. It's going to bring you $12,000 a year, which is a great investment. But now, okay, that's going to raise the value of the park because it's based on a cap rate, which I'll talk about another time. Geez, $150,000, $200,000 a year. Okay, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. That's a long-term approach. You invest $10,000 to make $150,000. Number 6 is managers shall be the one who deals with tenants. So if you're thinking about buying a mobile home park and managing it yourself by dealing with tenants, forget about it. Forget about it. Every mobile home park needs an on-site manager who deals with the tenants, who enforces the rules, who does the paperwork, who takes the complaints. You do not want to manage mobile home parks yourself. It's really, really, really important to have an on-site manager. I had one exception to this with a manager who lived a mile away from the park, but I always recommend an on-site manager. I'm telling you, life is so much easier, and your park will thank you for it. Do not manage parks yourself. And what I mean by that is you need to hire an on-site manager and you manage that person. Number 7, thou shalt provide a clean and a safe, clean and safe place to live. Very important. One of the biggest things that you can offer is a nice, clean environment. So if you don't have good lighting in your parks, okay, you want to invest in really, really good lighting at night so you can keep it safe. If there's any graffiti, you want to have it removed. You want good fencing around your park so that people feel safe and people just can't just drive through. You also want a line that your tenants could call, and you want them to be able to call the police directly should there be any issues. Do not let an ounce of trash hit the floor at your park. Okay, have your manager take care of any trash, and also enforce the rules on anyone who's bringing trash into your properties. Okay, the parks will definitely form to your standard in this area. Number 8, thou shalt save money for capital repairs. So mobile home parks are awesome, but guess what? Big stuff is going to break. You're going to have a big plumbing repair that you're going to have to take care of. Maybe you're going to have money for that new fence. Maybe you're going to have money for that new lighting. Maybe you're going to have to replace the septic system if the park is on septic. But you got to save money for those things. So don't think that it's all cash flow. Most mobile home parks, if you run them the right way, should run at a 30% expense ratio, meaning if you're collecting $10,000 a month, you should be able to keep $7,000 of that before any debt that you have. But a portion of that profit you want to save for long-term capital repairs. So for me, I like to save 5 to 10% of my monthly income and put that aside for monthly repairs. If you save too much, so what? Who cares? It's still there. You can always take some of that away later, but always put away 5 to 10% of your net operating income away for long-term capital repairs. Number 9, thou shalt buy right on the front end. Do not buy a deal just to buy a deal. You want a property in which you can create cash flow and raise value. You do not want to get in a situation where you're in a negative cash flow situation and you cannot raise rents to cover that negative cash flow over time. Okay, a deal is a mobile home park is not a deal just because it's a mobile home park. You have to buy it for the right price and the right terms. I can talk about that on the next episodes. And number 10, thou shalt always raise rents. Okay, I know earlier I talked about you shall bring your park to market rents, but every year you need to raise rents at the very minimum at the rate of inflation. And one of the reasons why I also love mobile home parks is that rents overall, as a market as a whole, are lower than they should be. So you should be raising rents every single year so that you can have a profitable investment, reinvest into the park, provide a clean and safe environment for your tenants, create a place where they want to live, preferably for the rest of their lives. And one of the things that I can tell you why I'm specifically passionate about mobile home parks is that my grandmother and mother both lived in a wonderful home in a mobile home park. It was clean, it was safe, it was an amazing community. They absolutely loved it, and I am just so thankful for that. And so that is part of my passion for mobile home parks. If you've ever wanted to learn how to invest in parks, maybe you're interested in investing in alongside me in one of my deals, go to nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/invest. That's nolimitsrealestateinvesting.com/invest. And I will talk to you on the next episode.